Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of all of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching the channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this so-called insignificant platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called uncommon sense. I just want to let everybody know that right now I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Also, want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media. And I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices every week. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so, please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do prepare material, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. I do want to let everybody know that I have the subscribers only mode on tonight. Okay, what does that mean? That means that if you are not a subscriber to the channel, if you wish to make a comment in the chat, you would need to subscribe to the channel. Okay, it's not going to cost you anything to subscribe. Okay, um, hopefully other people will catch the stream live or they'll watch it on the playback. Okay. And the reason for the subscriber only mode is to try to control the movement regarding the trolls, those who have nothing better to do but try to spread confusion and hate. Okay. So before we get into the topic, I want to give a big shout out to one particular YouTube creator. What I'm going to be doing every week, I'm going to do a huge shout out to a YouTube creator, which, in my estimation, is a positive influence here on these YouTube streets. And tonight, the person I wish to give a huge shout out is Magic Mulata. In case you don't know who she is, she is a young biracial YouTube creator. I think she lives in the West Coast, and she has a YouTube channel, and she's a very positive influence. And she does discuss a great deal of different topics. Among some of the topics she does discuss has to do with mental health. And her goal is to try to be a positive influence and to be an aid in reconciliation. So, for that reason, tonight I just want to give an honor Magic Molata. I don't know if she's watching this right now. So, what I'm going to be doing every week, I'm going to be highlighting a YouTube creator who is a positive influence. Now, the topic for tonight is what is cyberbullying? Okay. Now, before I get into that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link in the chat should anyone wishes to join the panel. Just give me a moment. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the definition. What is cyberbullying? Okay. Then I'm going to share some. Excuse me. Then I'm going to share some articles which I came up with regarding the subject. Okay. And the reason why I'm covering this topic is unfortunate. You do see cyberbullying um, in in social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Snapchat, TikTok, all the various different forms of social media. So what I'm going to do is, I see there's 3 people watching the stream, and I just want to say thank you very much. If you can, please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything, and what it does help my algorithm. Okay. So I think what we need to do in order to discuss what is cyberbullying is to give a definition behind it. Cyberbullying or cyber harassment is a form of bullying or harassment using electronic means. Cyberbullying and cyber harassment are also known as online bullying. It has become increasingly common, especially among teenagers, as the digital sphere has expanded and technology has advanced. Cyberbullying is when someone, typically a teenager, bullies or harasses others on the internet and on other digital spaces, particularly on social media sites. Harmful bullying behavior can include posting rumors, threats, sexual remarks, or victims' personal information, or pejorative labels. Example, hate speech. Bullying or harassment can be identified by repeated behavior and an attempt to harm. Victims of cyberbullying may experience lower self esteem, increased suicidal ideation, and various negative emotional responses, including being scared, frustrated, angry, or depressed. Um, while teenagers, for a good portion, are affected, I have seen um, different YouTube creators who have been the victims of cyberbullying. I've heard of YouTube creators who have had their personal documentation made public. I've heard YouTube creators that have actually had their own personal addresses made known. So, and unfortunately, there's been at least one case where um, one YouTube creator had to leave their home for protection because unfortunately, when you post where a person lives, their addresses, and their personal information, you are exposing these individuals to a great deal of harm, which can be done not just to the victims, but to their children as well. And it's disgusting, it's horrible, and there is no need for it. Okay. If you do not like a particular individual, the best thing to do is not to be bothered with that individual. Okay? Unfortunately, that does require a certain level of maturity that some people do not have. And I have seen it on these YouTube streets um, for, I would say, 2 to 3 years. I have seen people being threatened. I have seen people being yelled at. Okay. And what for? Um, Simply for disagreeing with certain beliefs. Okay. And there have been so called YouTube creators that had attacked female creators for numerous reasons. I happen to know quite a few female YouTube creators that were the victims of harassment. Um, there have been female YouTube creators which have been threatened with sexual assault or physical harm. So, and why? Simply because you have some people express an opinion that people do not like. Okay. Unfortunately, you have certain individuals that feel they have all the right in the world to threaten people and calling it under free speech. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read an article, and the source comes from stopbullying.gov. And again, I want to encourage anyone um, who wish to share their opinions, um, please enter it in the chat. Okay. Um, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can enter your point of view. Now, let me just read to you what the article actually says. Okay. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text, and apps or online social media forums or gaming where people view, participate in, or share content. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Some cyberbullying crosses the line into unlawful or criminal behavior. The most common places where cyberbullying occur are social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Text messages and messaging apps on mobile or tablet devices. Instant messaging, direct messaging, and online chatting over the internet. Online forums, chat rooms, and message boards such as Reddit. Email, online gaming communities. Okay. Now, there are special concerns involved with this topic. With the prevalence of social media and digital forms, comments, photos, posts, and content shared by individuals can often be viewed as strangers as with acquaintances. The content an individual shares online, both their personal content as well as any negative, mean, or hurtful content, creates a kind of permanent public record of their views, activities, and behavior. This public record can be thought of as an online reputation, which may be accessible to schools, employers, colleges, clubs, and others who may be researching an individual on how or in the future. Cyberbullying can harm the online reputation of everyone involved, not just the person bullied, but those doing the bullying or participating in it. Cyberbullying has unique concerns in that it can be persistent. Digital devices offer an ability to immediately and continuously communicate 24 hours a day. So it can be difficult for children experiencing cyberbullying to find relief. It is also permanent. Most information communicated electronically is permanent and public, if not reported and removed. A negative online reputation, including for those who bully, can impact college admissions, employment, and other areas of life. Hard to notice. Because teachers and parents may not always hear or see cyberbullying take place, it is harder to recognize. Now, there's certain laws and sanctions which are in place. All states have laws requiring schools to respond to bullying. As cyberbullying has become more prevalent with the use of technology, many states now include cyberbullying or mention cyberbullying offenses under these laws. Schools may take action either as required by law or with local or school policies that allow them to discipline or take other action. Some states also have provisions to address bullying if it affects school performance. You, you can learn about the states and policies, learn about the laws and policy in each state, including if they cover cyberbullying. Okay. Now I'm going to be talking about the frequency. There's two sources of federally collected data on youth bullying. The 2019 School Crime Supplement to the National Crime Visualization Survey, National Center for Educational Statistics, and Bureau of Justice indicate that nationwide about 16% of students in grades 9 to 12 experience cyberbullying. The 2019 Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, indicates that an estimated 15.7% of high school students were electronically bullied in the 12 months prior to the survey. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, just give me a moment, some cyberbullying tactics, okay? And they include the following: posting comments or rumors about someone online that are mean, hurtful, or embarrassing, threatening to hurt someone or telling them to kill themselves, posting a mean or hurtful picture or video, pretending to be someone else online in order to solicit or post personal or false information about someone else, posting mean or hateful names, comments, or content about race, religion, ethnicity, or other personal characteristics online, creating a mean or hurtful web page about someone, doxing, an abbreviated form of the word document, is a form of online harassment used to exact revenge and threaten and destroy the privacy of individuals by making their personal information public, including addresses, social security, credit card, and phone numbers, links to social media accounts, and other private data. As I indicated, there have been some YouTube creators have been the victims of doxing. Because cyberbullying can happen in different ways, example based on real life experiences can provide a deeper understanding of the tactics typically used among with other risk factors. Bullying can risk the risk of suicide related behaviors. Furthermore, cyberbullying can be relentless, increasing the likelihood of anxiety and depression. Some states have chosen to prosecute young people who bully for criminal harassment, including encouraging someone to die by suicide. Some forms of cyberbullying are forms of harassment that cross the line into criminal activity, and some tactics occur in dating relationships can turn into interpersonal violence. These stories are examples of different cyberbullying tactics which can happen. In reality, with the right intervention, cyberbullying can be addressed positively to lessen harm and the negative outcomes that could result. When not addressed, cyberbullying can have long-term mental health effects. Cyberbullying and bullying can negatively impact the lives of all who are involved. Now, this is another example, which is nude photo sharing. Okay. A teenage girl sent a nude photo of herself to her boyfriend when they were dating. After they broke up, he shared the photo with other children who called her hurtful, derogatory names via text and social media. Be very careful when with the images that you share, okay? Because unfortunately, teenagers, um, they're making adult decisions, and sometimes those decisions can have negative consequences. Another example is lies and false accusations. A group of students got into trouble at school for being drunk and accused a girl who knew nothing about it of reporting them to school officials. They began texting her day and night, posting hateful, derogatory messages on social media. Other students saw the messages and joined in harassing the girl. She was bullied constantly via text and in person at school. She eventually shut down her social media account and changed her phone number. Still, the bullying at school continued. Okay. So, as you can see, cyberbullying it is a serious matter. Students post me negative comments on another classmate's social media account, commenting on his clothes and sneakers, which were not the most expensive name brands most of them were wearing. They ridicule him for calling him poor and continue the bullying in school. The boy missed several days of school trying to avoid the harassment and the embarrassment. Now here's another thing. Now this is why I'm active regarding the trolls, because sometimes the trolls will pose as other people. There is this one individual who posted a picture of me and trying to pass himself as me. Okay, this person is obviously a troll. False identity profile sometimes referred to it as a sock pocket puppet. A girl classmate created a fake social media account in a boy's name and began an online relationship with her. Though she had not met him in person, the girl divulged personal information about herself and her family to this boy. The classmate who created the false account then shared the personal information with other children who used it to bully, shame, and harass the girl. Now, another harmful effect is encouraging others to commit suicide. Okay. A young boy with physical, excuse me, with a physical disability and scars in his face was harassed on social media via text by other students. They called him derogatory names and told him he'd be better off dead. They wrote, "Why don't you die?" on his school log and encouraged him to take his own life. Another group of people that are victims of bullying is the LGBTQ plus community. Okay. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not here to endorse any lifestyle or not to endorse any lifestyle. But we do need to respect people and the choices that they make regarding their personal lives. A teenage boy who was openly gay began receiving death threats via phone, text, and social media for being gay. Students created an anti gay social media group and harassed him, posting hateful messages about him. Okay. Another form of bullying is jealousy bullying. Okay. Kind of reminds me of someone that we know, okay, who referred to my platform as insignificant. A teenage girl was harassed by other girls in her class for dating a very popular boy. The girl sent her hateful messages via text and social media and wrote derogatory messages on her school locker. Um, a teenage boy posted comments on public gaming forum expressing his dislike for certain game features and tactics. Another user disagreed with him in the forum and then searched for the boy's information online, posted his address, email address, and social media links in another comment. The boy then received multiple emails and messages from strangers threatening to come to his home and saw him and block him for all the games. Okay. What what I'm sharing is a lot of negative effects when it comes to cyberbullying. Okay. Now, I see here not too many people watching this. Hopefully, people watch it on the playback. Okay. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna share. Just give me a moment. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you the harmful effects of cyberbullying. Okay. I'm gonna continue to talk for a while. If no one else joins the panel or make a comment, I will end this. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you have more than one person airing content at the same time. So now I'm just going to share with you the harmful effects. Research has demonstrated a number of serious consequences of cyberbullying victimization. Victims may have lower self-esteem, increased suicide ideation. Okay, I think already. Excuse me. No, actually, no. Let me just continue. And a variety of emotional responses, including being scared, frustrated, angry, or depressed. Cyberbullying may be more harmful than traditional bullying because there is no escaping it. One of the most damaging effects is that a victim begins to avoid friends and relatives, which is often the very intention of the bully. Cyberbullying campaigns are sometimes so damaging that the victims have committed suicide. There are at least 4 examples in the United States in which cyberbullying has been linked to suicides of a teenager. The suicide of Megan Mayer is an example that led to the conviction of the adult perpetrator of the attacks. Holly Grogan committed suicide by jumping off a 30-foot bridge near Gloucester in the UK. It was reported that a number of her schoolmates had posted a number of hateful messages on her Facebook page. According to Lucy Russell, Director of Campaigns, Policy and Participation of Youth Mental Health Charity Young Minds, young people who suffer from mental disorders are vulnerable to cyberbullying as they are sometimes unable to shrug it off. When someone says nasty things, healthy people can filter them out. They are able to put a block between that and their self esteem. But mentally unwell people don't have the strength and the self esteem to do that, to separate it, and so get compiled with everything else. To them, it becomes the absolute truth. There is no filter, there is no block. That person would take it on or take it as fact. Now I'm going to be talking about intimidation, emotional damage, and suicide. According to the Cyberbullying Research Center, there have been several high profile cases involving teenagers taking their own lives, in part because they're being harassed and mistreated over the internet. A phenomenon we have termed cyberbullicide. Suicide indirectly or directly influenced by experiences with online aggression. Cyberbullying is an intense form of psychological abuse which whose victims are more than twice as likely to suffer from mental disorders compared to traditional bullying. The reluctance of youth to have in telling an authority figure about instances of cyberbullying has led to fatal outcomes. At least 3 children between the ages of 12 and 13 have committed suicide due to depression brought on by cyberbullying, according to reports by USA Today and the Baltimore Examiner. These include suicide of Brian Halliger and the suicide of Megan Mayer, the latter which was resulted in the United States versus Lori Drew. Teen suicides tied to cyberbullying has recently become more prevalent. Rebecca and Cedric commit suicide after being terrorized through a mobile application such as SFN, KIK Messenger, and Voxer. Okay. Now I'm going to be talking about the effects of cyberbullying on youth and teenagers. The effects of cyberbullying may vary, but research illustrates that cyberbullying adversely affects youth to a higher degree than adolescents and adults. Excuse me.
I didn't understand that.
Okay. Youth are more likely to suffer since they are still growing mentally and physically. Jennifer N. Cottle, a certified family physician, says kids that are bullied are like to experience anxiety, depression, loneliness, unhappiness, and poor sleep. Most of the time, cyberbullying goes unnoticed. The younger generation hides their bullying from anyone that can help to prevent the bullying from occurring and from getting worse. Between 20 and 40% of adolescents are victims of cyberbullying worldwide. The youth slowly change their behavior and actions so they become more withdrawn and quiet. But this may go unnoticed since the change is subtle. Meeting Denise believes cyberbullying will become a serious problem in the future with an increase in internet and mobile phone usage among young people. If preventive actions are not taken against cyberbullying, younger children, in addition to teenagers, will feel more lonely and depressed, along with having significant changes in their eating and sleeping patterns, as well as loss of interest in their normal activities. These changes will affect their growth and development into adulthood. Younger children and teenagers are 76.2% less likely to display suicide behaviors and thoughts, but are still at risk depending on other factors such as mental health status, home care, and relationship with others. The risk of suicide increases by 35 to 45% when victims do not have any support from anyone in their life, and cyberbullying amplifies the situation. Young people seem particularly vulnerable to the effects of cyberbullying through anonymous social media, perhaps because adolescents are attracted to these platforms as a means of seeking validation from their peers. Abuse on these platforms, such as SFU, YIK, Yak, and Saraha, can be particularly keenly felt by young people, leading to issues of lost confidence. There have been a number of suicides related to bullying on these platforms in the US and Britain. So now we're talking about regarding suppression of speech. By at least 2018, some doctors have been targets of online harassment from anti-vaccine activists, according to the social media posts, including hundreds of negative false reviews on doctors' rating sites. This has made some of the doctors more reluctant to share information about vaccines, but others from groups to spread factual information about vaccine safety on social media and in their response. Now, as you can see here, There are many consequences to cyberbullying. Okay. Also, um, in 2020, there have been certain individuals which were censored uh, due to their opinions. Opinions regarding the COVID 19 pandemic, opinions regarding vaccines and whatnot. Okay. There have been people who have been censored. There have been people who have been um, ostracized simply for expressing a point of view that go against the grain. Now, one thing we must bear in mind, um, while there is freedom of speech, okay, that does not give you a license to say anything that's on your mind. It does not give you the license to say harmful information or content with others. It does not give you the right to post personal data. It does not give you the right to post their addresses. It does not give you the right to post nude pictures of individuals, particularly if those individuals does not want those pictures to be made public. Okay. Unfortunately, we're living in a time where people they try to take advantage. They try to harm others through social media. Okay. Now, of course, there are people who do not have social media accounts for multiple reasons. Uh, Something that have to do with the fact that they look at it as a waste of time. They see some of the wretchedness that has occurred on social media. Social media is like any other device, platform. It could be used for good, it could be used for bad. Okay? There are many responsible YouTube creators that do use their platforms to share entertainment, news, recipes, information about places that they wish to go on vacation. So, social media has a good side and it has a bad side. It all depends on how you wish to use it. Okay. Uh, if you want to use an analogy, think of it as fire. Okay. Fire can be used to cook food. Fire can be used to keep you warm, particularly if you're outdoors um, in the middle of winter. It can burn garbage. However, left unchecked, it can cause a great deal of damage. So, social media, it's neither good nor bad. It all depends how you use it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read another article. Um, and actually, it was written by Eileen Conso or Chick, um, dated February 19th, 2022. And it's called The Psychology of Cyberbullying. Okay. Now, here's what it says. Cyberbullying refers to the use of digital technology to cause harm to other people. This typically involves the use of the internet, but may also take place through mobile phones, like text message bullying. Social media is one of the primary channels through which cyberbullying takes place, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and more. Cyberbullying has been deemed a public health problem, with the prevalence of cyberbullying doubling from 2007 to 2019. And 59% of teens in the United States reporting that they have been bullied or harassed online. In general, cyberbullying is a recent issue with increasing numbers of people using the internet. For this reason, it remains not well understood. In addition, much of the focus is how cyberbullying affects the victim, without a lot of focus on how to cope with cyberbullying, how to reduce cyberbullying, or what to do if you are cyberbullying yourself. Now I'm going to talk about what is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the repeated and intentional use of digital technology to target another person with threats, harassment, or public humiliation. Cyberbullying makes the use of digital technology, which means that most people bully or are bullied through their mobile devices, tablets, or computers. Cyberbullying can appear through social media, inside of apps, in forums, during gambling, and more. However, more personal cyberbullies will operate through email, texting, or direct messaging. It has been argued that cyberbullying arises in light of five criteria: intention, repetition, power imbalance, anonymity, and publicity. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read regarding each element. The first one being intention. Cyberbullies generally have the intention of creating harm when they engage in online bullying. However, bullying can still take place without the intention if a victim perceives actions to be harmful. Next thing is repetition. And again, I see there's four people viewing the stream. If anyone wishes to join the panel, the link is there. Repetition is a hallmark characteristic of cyberbullying. This refers to repeated actions on the part of the bully, but also the fact that material that is shared on the internet could last much longer than the original bullying. This is especially true in the case of sharing personal information or photos as a form of cyberbullying. Now, the next thing I'll be talking about is power imbalance. One of the other hallmark traits of cyberbullying is that the victims are in a power imbalance situation with their bullying. This can be especially true if the bullying takes place in a public forum. The next thing is anonymity. Okay. Cyberbullies can make use of anonymity to hide behind their computer screen when they engage in bullying. In this case, there is no need for power imbalance in the relationship between the bully and the victim, which is why trolls can be a big problem. Okay, and I see here we have a comment. Okay, let's see. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, you know what? It's okay. Hopefully, you can watch this on the playback when you have an opportunity to do so. And I just want to let people know that Keisha has her own YouTube channel, which is called Wine and FaceTime. And she goes live every Saturday night around 8 o'clock. So I'm going to ask if you have not done so, uh, please subscribe, like, and and all that good stuff. Okay, so and just and hopefully, okay, okay, let's see. Okay, so let me just continue. Some cyberbullies make use of the anonymity to hide behind the computer screen when they engage in bullying. In this case, there is no. Okay, I already read that part. Okay, which is why this is a big issue regarding the trolls. What they'll do is they'll take a picture of somebody and then they'll create a fake account and pretend that they're somebody else. Right now, there's an idiot out there who took a picture of me and try to pass himself out as yours truly. Okay, one sure way that you can tell who is, who, from me from the other person, is that that person was to simply say Jose Negron. My channel, my title is Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. So that's how you can tell who's who. Now, finally, okay, the other last remaining trait is publicity. Finally, another trait that some cyberbullying is that involves the use of publicity. This is especially true for those who choose publicly humiliate or shame someone in their form of bullying. Now, there are several forms of cyberbullying. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what are those forms. Okay. Flaming. Flaming refers to using inflammatory language about someone or broadcasting offensive messages about them in the hopes of eliciting a reaction. One example would be Donald Trump's use of phrases like crooked Hillary or sleepy Joe. Okay. Outing. Outing involves sharing personal or embarrassing information about someone on the internet. This type of cyberbullying usually takes place on a larger scale rather than one to one or in a smaller group. The next, for example, is trolling. Trolling refers to posting content or comments with the goal of getting people to have an embarrassing online reaction. In other words, a troll will say something derogatory or offensive about a person or a group with the sole intention of getting people riled up. This type of cyberbullying creating chaos and sitting back and watching what happens. Okay, that's the reason. One of the main reasons why I use the subscriber mode only mode on my streams to try to limit the presence of the trolls. Okay. Now another example is name calling. Name calling involves using offensive language to refer to other people. Reports show that 42% of teens said they've been called offensive names through their mobile phone or on the internet. Another example is spreading false rumors. Cyberbullies who spread false rumors make up stories about individuals and then spread these false truths online. In the same report, 2% of teens said that someone has spread false rumors about them on the internet. Another example is sending explicit images or messages. Now, cyberbullies may also send ex, ex, explicit images or messages without the consent of the victim. Okay, now been on platforms when people are trying to address a serious image, a serious situation or an article or an event that's been happening. So then you have these individuals that will create a fake account and then they say they want to express a point of view only to expose a picture of genitalia. Okay. Which is very harmful because the good people of YouTube can shut down the stream or the video if they perceive to be sexually offensive. And also, um, it can cause a video to be shut down. It could cause people to lose their platforms, which is why the serious YouTube creators have to be vigilant when it comes to people who we do not know entering our platforms. Okay. Also, that's the reason. One of the reasons why I have moderators um, who are there to make sure that nothing inappropriate enters in in a chat, and if there's any inappropriate text or what have you, that they be removed and blocked. Okay. Another topic is cyber stalking, harassing, and physical threats. Some cyberbullies will repeatedly target the same people through cyber stalking, cyber harassment, or physical threats. In that same report, 16% teens reported having been the victims of physical threats on the internet. Okay. So, as you can see here, this is not a joking matter. This is a serious discussion. Okay. Now we're going to get into why do these individuals cyberbullying? Why do people engage in cyberbullying? There can be numerous different factors that can lead to someone becoming a cyberbully. One being mental health issues. Cyberbullies may be living with mental health issues that relate to their bullying or make it worse. Examples include problems with aggression, hyperactivity, or impulsivity, as well as substance abuse. In addition, those with personality features resembling the dark read threat of narcissism or psychopathy may be at risk of cyberbullying. These individuals tend to have a low level of empathy for other people and may bully others as a way to increase their sense of power or worth. Some of them have been the victims of bullying as well. Cyberbullies sometimes become bullies after having experienced cyberbullying themselves. In this way, they may be looking to feel more in control or lash out after feeling victimized and being unable to retaliate to the original bully. Okay. Another factor is result of conflicts or breakups. Cyberbullying that can take place between two people that were previously friends or in a relationship may be triggered by conflicts in the friendship or the breakdown of a friendship. In this way, this type of cyberbullying may be viewed as driven by revenge or jealousy. Another factor is boredom or trying out a new persona. It has been suggested that some people engage in cyberbullying due to boredom or the desire to try out a new persona on the internet. This type of cyberbullying would be typically be anonymous. Another factor is loneliness or isolation. Cyberbullies may also be people who struggle with feeling isolated or lonely in society. They feel ignored by others. They may lash out as a way to feel better or vent their rage at society. Now, I'm going to share with you why people become cyber bullies. And again, if anyone wishes to join the panel, the link is there. Okay. While some people are bullies both in real life and online, there are others who only become bullies in the digital space. Why is this the case? Why would someone bully others online when they would never do that in their everyday life? There are multiple possible explanations for this behavior. One being non-confrontational and anonymous. The first reason why people may become bullies online when they do not bully in their everyday life has to do with the nature of the internet. A person can bully others online and remain completely anonymous. Clearly, this is not possible with traditional bullying. In addition, online bullying can be done in a non-confrontational way, particularly if it's anonymous. That means that a cyberbully may skip about the internet, leaving nasty comments and not seek amount to hear replies. The next factor is no need for popularity or physical dominance. In order to be a bully in real life, you typically need to have some advantage over your victim. This might mean that you are physically larger than them. It might mean that you are more important than them. Or it might mean that you have some sort of power imbalance over them. In contrast, anyone can be a cyberbully. There is no need for physical dominance or popularity. This means that people who want to bully can easily do on the internet regardless of their status in their real life. Another factor, no barrier to entry. Similar to the concept of being there's no need to be dominant or popular. There's also a very low barrier to entry to becoming a cyberbully. Anyone with access to the internet can get started. Friends are defined loosely online, which creates a situation that makes it very easy to bully others. Another factor is no free feedback from the victim. Finally, the last reason why people who do not bully in real life may engage in cyberbullying has to do with the lack of feedback from their victims. Cyberbullies usually engage in bullying over an extended period of time, largely because there's not general feedback from the victim like there would be in a face-to-face interaction. Someone who in real life will see the impact on the victim and back off may not do the same in the case of cyberbullying. Now I'm going to discuss with you how cyberbullying differs from in-person bullying. In the case of cyberbullying, the victim generally has no escape
from the abuse and harassment. Unlike real life encounters, online bullying and the internet never really shut down, and the bullying may be unrelenting. This can make the victim feel as though they have no escape, particularly if the bullying involves sharing their personal information or when something posted about them goes viral. This type of bullying can go on for an extended period of time. Okay. Now I'm going to share with you the effects of cyberbullying. There are numerous effects that may be seen with those who dealing with cyberbullying. It can be helpful to know when to expect to see a victim, as this can one way to identify someone being bullied online. Some of these effects are even stronger than what is seen in traditional bullying, as the victim cannot escape from the abusive situation. They may include feelings of distress about the bullying, increased feelings of depression and mood swings, increased feelings of anxiety, problems falling asleep or staying asleep, for example, insomnia, suicidal ideation or suicidal attempt, increased feelings of fearfulness, feelings of low self esteem or self worth, social isolation, withdrawing from friend groups or spending a lot of time alone, avoiding doing things that they used to enjoy, poor academic performance, problems with relationship and with family members and friends. Of course, other effects are self harm, which is cutting, hurting yourself, headbanging. Substance abuse, increased feelings of anger, irritability, or angry outbursts. So now I'm going to share with you the characteristics of the victims. There are indeed some common aspects of the victim that tend to repeat themselves, including the following characteristics. Teens and young adults are the most at risk. In the case of spreading false rumors of being the recipient of explicit images, girls are more likely to be victims. People who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender may be victims more often. Those who are shy, socially awkward, or don't fit easily may become victims. People from lower income households are more likely to be victims. People who use the internet constantly are more likely to be victims of online bullying. Anyone can become a victim of cyberbullying, even people who are considered public figures. People who have large social followings on social media often tend to become targets of cyberbullying. Now I'm going to share with you how to deal with it. There are many ways to deal with a cyberbully as an adult and as a parent if your child is being bullied on the internet. Let's take a look at each of these issues separately. Okay. Now, this is talking about as the parent. If your child is being bullied online, the best course of action is to instruct them not to respond to the internet bullying. In addition, tell them to document each incident of cyberbullying by saving text messages, emails, photos, and other forms of communication. This can be done using screenshots if necessary. Ask your child to come forward with this information to you so that you have records of everything. And we now have the presence of the 18th letter. Good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. And I want to let everybody know that the 18th letter also has a YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe to his channel and check out his content. And I believe, if I am not mistaken, uh, he's going to go live tomorrow, Saturday night, um, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Raheem, if that's not correct, please enter the correct information in the chat. Okay. This could be done using screenshots if necessary. Ask your child to forward this information to you, that you have records of everything. Next, if the bullying is originating from a school contact, report the instances of cyberbullying to the teacher, principal, administrative staff at your school. In the case of extreme bullying or threats, you should report the bullying behavior to the police. Raheem, actually, just for those who are just entering now, the topic for tonight is, what is cyberbullying? Finally, it's important to reassure your child that you're not to blame for bullying online. Some victims may feel that their behavior created the problem, or that they are somehow to blame. For this reason, it's important to make sure your child knows what happened is not their fault. Now we're going to be talking about as an adult. And I see right now there are 5 people watching the stream. And I just want to say thank you very much. Many of the same principles as above will apply to your situation as an adult dealing with cyberbullying. First of all, be sure to keep records of all instances of bullying, whether they come through your text messages, messenger chats, and Facebook groups, Instagram DMs, or other online sources. Take screenshots and keep the folders on your computer with evidence of cyberbullying. Next, if you know the source of the cyberbullying, determine whether there is a course of action you can take with regards to that person. For example, if it is a work colleague or supervisor, is there someone in HR at work that you can speak to? If it is a family member, there's ways to bring up this issue with other family members to ask for their support. Finally, if it is someone you only know online, you can block and delete them from your social media. The best course of action would be to ignore the cyberbullying as much as possible. However, if you're receiving threats, then you will want to report this to the police, along with the evidence that you have collected. Okay. Now, as a community, I'm glad we talk about as a community. It is not enough for the victims of cyberbullying to deal with the bullies and try to find solutions. Oftentimes, these victims are emotionally distraught and unable to find help. It is our job as a community to work toward establishing systems that prevent cyberbullying from taking place at all. Some potential ideas for initiatives are listed below. Kids and teens who are cyberbullied are still learning how to regulate emotions and deal with social situations. Cyberbullying at this age could have lasting permanent effects. Mental health resources should be put in place to help victims of cyberbullying managing their mental health. Cyberbullying thrives on the status and approval. Cyberbullies will stop when social rejection of cyberbullying becomes so widespread and prevalent that they no longer have anything to gain. This means that every instance of online bullying that is witnessed, especially in the case of troll comments, should be, I think it should not be ignored. Okay, it should be ignored. In addition, there should be awareness of campaigns that online bullying is not only not acceptable, but is a sign of weak social status. Schools are the point of contact for parents trying to help their children who have been cyberbullied. For this reason, schools should have programs and protocols in place to immediately and swiftly deal with cyberbullying. Parents should not have to ask multiple times for help without receiving it. Interesting point. Now we're going to be talking about what if you are the cyber bully. What happens if you are the cyberbully yourself? If you are engaged in cyberbullying and want to stop, you need to take stock of your reasons for engaging in the bullying, as this will inform you your best course of action. Let's consider each of these and what you could do. Now, you could be struggling with a mental health issue. If you feel as though your mental health is not as in good shape, and this might be a contributing factor to cyberbullying behavior, make an appointment with your doctor to discuss this. Okay. For example, if you struggle with anger or aggression, you might benefit from anger management program. If you have low empathy with others, identify with the traits of psychopathy, then it will be harder for you to find insight and change. However, you can try to channel your energy in different pursuits. For example, if you are cyberbullying someone because it gives you a thrill, is there a hobby you can take up or a business that you can start that will give you a thrill without the consequences for another person? Another thing to consider if you are the victim yourself. If you were once a victim yourself of cyberbullying, and that's the reason why you're engaging in cyberbullying yourself, it's time to take a look at your options for change. It could be that you have unresolved anger that needs to be taken out in a different way. You may also feel more powerful when you're bullied, which helps you to stop feeling like the victim. In that case, you may need to work on other ways to improve your sense of self so that you can stop feeling helpless and out of control. After all, you were once a victim yourself and you know how that feels. Rather than continue a cycle of bullying and victimhood, you have a chance to break this cycle and rise above the past. You likely need help to do that, and most likely in the form of professional assistance to work through your past. Now, another reason could be had a conflict or a breakup. If you are cyber stalking someone because of a conflict you have with them or a bad breakup, it's time to reevaluate your behavior. What do you hope to achieve from your cyber stalking? Again, you may need the help of a professional to work through your feelings that led you to this behavior. Another example of factor is if you're lonely or isolated. What if you're just lonely and this is the reason you have resorted to cyberbullying? This type of bullying falls into arena of people who may feel like the world has passed them by, or that everyone else is out there enjoying life while you are alone. In this case, find ways to start building up your in-person social connections, join a club, volunteer somewhere, or take up a hobby to meet other people like yourself. You are bored. If you are cyberbullying because you're bored and you're not a psychopath, then you want to consider why you think it is acceptable to hurt someone in exchange of making yourself less bored. Suddenly, lots of people are bored in the world, but never cyberbully. Take up a hobby, learn a second language, or find something to do. Now, I'm just going to read following. If you are the victim of cyberbullying, know that you're not alone and that there are options to help. If you're struggling with, you can visit the following: the cyberbullying hotline, and the telephone number is 1-800-VICTIMS. That's 1-800 V as in Victor, I as in Interco, C as in Charlie, T as in Tom, I as in Ivory, M as in March, S as in Sound. And there's also a website called stopbullying.gov. That's stopbullying.gov. In fact, let me just give me a moment and I'll type it in. Oops, excuse me. Just bear with me. As I type in. Oops. Okay. Finally, if you are a cyberbully yourself, it's never too late to change. Examine your reasons why. A reason for being a bully, and see if you can find alternatives to stop the behavior. Okay. Now let's just see. Okay. So that's one, resource, for those victims of cyberbullying. Now, let me just give you my take. This is a serious topic. I wish there had been people who enter their comments in the chat or join the panel. But it was necessary for me to discuss this topic because there are people who do cyberbully others. And there are people who are victims of cyberbullying. So, there are resources, there are ways that, things you could do, and you can stop cyberbullying if you wish to get help. Okay. As always, the key is to admit that you have a problem, and then you want to resolve it. You want to stop it. You don't wish to continue to be a cyber bully. Okay. So if no one else joins the panel, I'm just going to start to wrap this up. Okay. And hopefully other people will catch this on the playback. Okay. Because it is a serious matter. It is something that we not to be taken lightly. Okay. So, being that no one else is going to join the panel, and I see there is no other comments coming in, I'm going to start to wrap this up. This has been the longest that I have ever talked by myself. But I'm going to put the link one more time. If no one wishes to join the panel, then I'll call it a night. The reason why I chose this topic, because it is a serious topic, notwithstanding the fact that not many people are watching it. And unfortunately, as you can see here, not too many people are addressing this topic. But here on Uncommon Sense, we address everyday issues. And sometimes we address issues that no one wants to talk about. Okay. So let me just give you a preview regarding my next stream. I'm gonna be live on Saturday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. And it's gonna be open discussion. So I'm gonna be talking about random topics. Now, depending on the interaction, the stream might be short or it might be long. It all depends. If there's a lot of people who are entering comments and interacting, it can go for quite a bit of time. If no one enters any comments or no one interacts, then it will end quickly. It is that simple. I hope that the people who catch this on the playback will get some benefit in regards to this topic. And I see no one else is going to join the stream. And I see no other comments coming in. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this up because I usually don't talk for almost an hour and a half by myself. Now, I already scheduled my streams for next week. Starting next week, there's going to be a slight change in the scheduling of the streams. Because usually it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule. Being that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I usually I'm live like around 8 o'clock, and then Fridays, I'm usually live like around 7. Okay. So next week, there's going to be a slight change. I'm going to be on Monday night at 8 o'clock. Of course, that's scheduled to change depending on what's my situation. Tuesday, I'll have my stream at 8 o'clock. Thursday, either 8 o'clock or 8:15. And then Saturdays, I'll probably do a short stream regarding my thoughts. Okay. And again, it all depends on the interaction. If there's a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of if there's a lot of interaction, then the streams will go on for a considerable length of time. If not, I'm going to call it a night. So that being said, I do thank you for allowing me to come into your devices. Okay. And that being said, I'm going to close the same way that I always close. Let us be good to one another and each other. That being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, and I thank you very much. And I bid all of you a good night. Take care and peace.
Be strong. Be strong. Be strong. Be strong.